Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. This week is actually kind of one of those rare weeks where we don't have a bodybuilding competition this weekend, at least not for open bodybuilding. I know this summer has kind of been jam-packed, like every single weekend has had a bodybuilding show because the Olympia's moved up this year till October, so they got to fit those shows in over a little bit shorter span of time. But we actually don't have another open bodybuilding Olympia qualifying show until September 8th, which is the Italy Pro, and that's the show that most notably Hunter Labrada is doing. But in addition to that, we are getting really close to the Olympia. We're now under 9 weeks out, and we got a physique update from your current reigning defending Mr. Olympia champion, Derek Lunsford. So we're definitely getting close enough now to the Olympia that a lot of the top guys are starting to actually post like physique updates, posing videos, counting down to the Olympia, and then especially when we get within that 6-week out window is where things really start to heat up. Now, with Derek in this video in particular, obviously he's showing off his back. He's already got some striations in his glutes. I think the most notable thing here, you guys can let me know what you guys think, but I'm looking at the size of his legs, his hamstrings. He looks like he's put on some serious lower body size in these back shots. And it's been such a fast transformation for Derek, it's still weird for me, looking at these updates, in particular, some of the off-season updates of his quads. He's got like gnarly big quads now. It's so weird because just a couple years ago, before he made the transition to open bodybuilding, that was like the biggest critique of Derek's physique. They were saying, oh, he's got a great back, his upper body's great, but his legs just aren't quite there. That was constantly this criticism against Derek. And it's hard to even imagine looking at him now that people once said his legs were underdeveloped. His legs are crazy now. His legs are arguably some of the best. He's Mr. Olympia. And even though in this video you can't see his quads, you guys know what I'm talking about. He's got, pretty crazy quads now. But looking at his legs from the back, the size of his hamstrings, and he's got pretty big calves too. But looking at his legs from the back, he looks like he's put on even more size because keep in mind, Derek's upper back, his lats, are like his craziest body part. He's crazy, crazy big, dense, wide from the back. So for his legs from the back to still look that big in comparison to his upper body, it's pretty impressive. And I do personally think that this year at the Olympia, the battle will still be between Derek and Hadi for the title. I still think that'll be your top two. They're a really solid top two. And one of the guys that's right there behind them, chasing them, that also posted an update today is Samson Dauda, also showing off the back shots, which was something that people criticized about Samson, was that he needed to add some size and some density to his back, his upper back in particular, and it certainly looks like he has done that. You can also see, to give Samson some credit here, a lot of people criticize Samson for conditioning. At 9 weeks out, I think in this video, you can see some really impressive separation in his hamstrings. And honestly, a level of separation in the hamstrings that you didn't see in Derek's video. And even though you can't really see the glutes in Samson's video, you can't tell if they're striated or not, I am impressed with the level of separation he's got in his hamstrings at 9 weeks out. Now with Samson, I don't know if he's like come out and made a public statement about this in a video or not, but my understanding is he's no longer working with Oxygen Gym for this Olympia prep. And I don't think he's made a big deal about it. And I don't think, like I said, not that I know of, he's come out and made a statement. But my understanding is he's not training at Oxygen Gym for the duration of his Olympia prep like he was supposed to. He's back home in the UK. And again, my understanding is he's going to finish out the rest of his prep there. So I don't know exactly what the situation is or why he left or if there was an issue or not, or just personal differences, who knows. But I've got to be honest here, as incredible as Samson looks and as much as I love his physique, I have a hard time seeing him cracking that top two with Hadi and Derek in that mix when he seems to not be able to hold down a coach. I mean, you guys saw the situation with Milos, and now it appears he's already done with Oxygen. It seems like now he's just exclusively working with his wife as his coach for this show, which is fine. But I think there really is some value and something to be said about a good, healthy working relationship with a good, experienced coach. And not to say that his wife is not a good, experienced coach, and not to say he doesn't have a good, healthy relationship working with her. But the ups and downs, with Milos, with Oxygen, it just kind of makes me wonder. And then you've got the top two at the Olympia working with, in my opinion, the greatest coach of all time, Hadi Rambod. Both the top two at the Olympia are working with him, have been working with him, have had great results with him, seem to have a great relationship with him. And I don't see, and this is no disrespect to Samson or his wife, I just have a really hard time seeing a guy being coached by his wife beating the top two at the Olympia that are being coached by the greatest bodybuilding coach of all time, Hadi Rambod. And then I think you've got to wonder even further, like, if down the road closer to the Olympia, maybe he does link up with a new coach and works with them for the, for the peak or towards the end of that prep, or maybe he is secretly already working with another coach. But again, with all these ups and downs, it kind of points to that inconsistency. And I think that's the same inconsistency that we've been kind of seeing with his conditioning. Sometimes he's a little bit closer to being on, sometimes he's more off. And I think that level of inconsistency also makes it hard for me to say he's going to crack the top two against two guys that not only have arguably the best bodybuilding coach of all time, but two guys that have been extremely consistent thus far. So let me know what you guys think about Samson. But while we're on that topic of extremely consistent bodybuilders, let's look at this video of Hadi Choopan from a few days ago. Hadi Choopan is arguably, in my opinion, one of the most consistent bodybuilders of all time when it comes to bringing conditioning. Now, his conditioning has been better, it's been worse, but Hadi Choopan has never been off at a competition to the point where people would say he's not in shape. Never. He's been, better or worse versions of his own conditioning, but there's never been a show that I've seen Hadi compete at since he's been competing in the IFBB where I would say that guy is not in shape. He's always been in condition, just maybe not his all-time best condition sometimes, but recently I think he has been at the Arnold Classic Ohio and the Arnold Classic UK. And that's one of the reasons why I'm leaning towards Hadi winning the Olympia this year. I think he impressed a lot of people at the Arnold Classic Ohio and the Arnold Classic UK. Both those shows he looked incredible. I think better so at the Ohio. And even when I did the recap of the Arnold Classic Ohio with Hadi Rambod, Hadi even said in that video, if this version of Hadi that we just saw at the Arnold was at the Olympia 2023, Derek wouldn't have beat him. Hadi was that good at the Arnold that even Hadi said that. And Hadi looked like he improved a lot. He brought up his back. His conditioning was even better than it was at the Olympia. And I think if he's more competitive in those back shots with Derek, he's going to go back to winning the thing and Derek being second. But you got to also consider that Derek is also working with Hadi, so Derek has likely also made just as many, if not more, improvements than Hadi has. But something tells me if Derek this time is not super conditioned through the chest, if his biceps aren't super chiseled out and you can see that clear definition, separation, especially like right under the biceps, and you don't see that super deep striations in the chest like Hadi has. If Hadi has brought up his back enough to compete with Derek a little bit more in those back shots and it's not such a blowout, and Hadi still comes in with like that superior conditioning from the front, I think he'll have enough to pull it off. And if we go back to another guy that's in this conversation, Nick Walker, who actually recently said that he predicts himself to win the Olympia. If we go back to this picture, this was from 10 weeks out, so it's a little bit of an older picture, but it's the most recent physique update from Nick. But recently, I believe it was yesterday that Nick said this on his story, his top 5 Olympia predictions is him winning, Hadi in second, Derek in third, Samson in fourth, and Andrew in fifth. Now, first of all, let me know if you agree or disagree with that top 5. Then also the other news today with Nick Walker was that apparently both him and Antoine Vaillant have parted ways with their supplement sponsor, HD Muscle. Now, I've always liked Nick's confidence. It's one of the things that made me a fan of him. Is he's kind of an interesting guy to see compete. He makes it entertaining, he makes it exciting, etc. But honestly, after what we saw at the New York Pro, I think he would need to look way, way above and beyond how he looked in New York. I honestly think to be top 3 again at the Olympia. I don't think that look in New York would even crack the top 3. I think he'd need to be a lot better, a lot sharper than that. And maybe he will be. And right now, from everything that we've seen from these guys, and this is kind of why I wanted to give this kind of 9 weeks out, I guess 8.5 weeks out, Olympia early prediction video, is that we've gotten to see all these guys relatively recently. They're all posting physique updates. We just saw Andrew Jack compete. I would give my very early top 5 predictions that I'm sure will change as we see more from these guys. But right now, I think Hadi will win. I think Derek in second. I think Samson will likely be third again. I think Nick will be fourth and Andrew Jacked in fifth. And you could maybe swap Nick and Andrew Jacked and have Andrew in fourth, Nick in fifth. That's kind of how I'm seeing it right now. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are your very early 9 weeks out Olympia predictions? Give me your winner and your top 5 in order in the comments below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NICKS&P, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.